is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Florida.
Last night, Marlins Braves Part 2. And the Marlins got some power and some pop. Adeiny Echeverria's first homer. Justin Bour crushed a breaking ball. His hot start continued. But the Braves were better with the bats, and Atlanta has won 2 straight. Today, Jarred Cozart's second starts, and the Miami right-hander tries to right the ship. A weekend wraps up with Marlins and Braves. On a gorgeous Sunday in South Florida, a 3-gamer wraps up, and the Marlins need a win to avoid a sweep. Fish and Braves. Justin Bour off to a hot start, and the Atlanta Braves have come in and surprised the Fish by winning their first 2 games of the year. Jhoulys Chacín going for Atlanta. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Eduardo Perez. The promotion today is Sunday Fun Day.
Let's do it.
It's not been a lot of fun for the Marlins. They need a win to avoid a sweep. I don't know that anyone saw this coming.
No, the Marlins did not see this coming. This was a team that was already 0-9 coming in to Miami. And the way they played the Marlins, sometimes the Marlins wonder, are we beating ourselves instead of the Braves beating them? Well, the Braves have been playing pretty good baseball.
Marlins lineup card looks decidedly different. I want you to take me through the heart of the order. The Marlins have made some changes here. What are the dynamics of this?
Well, the dynamics are simple. Martin Prado now moves from the cleanup spot, or today would have been probably the 5th spot, to the 2 spot because there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound. You see him with his on-base percentage always high, patient at the plate, will give D. Gordon a little bit more protection and allow him when he gets on base to steal. It'll set it up for Christian Yelich, which has had a superb start. Giancarlo Stanton, hopefully it'll get his bat going as he went 0 for 4 yesterday with 4 Ks. And then now Marcell passes from the 2nd spot to the 5th spot, giving protection also to Justin Bour, which has had a phenomenal start going the other way a lot and showing power against that off-speed pitch.
Finishing a start for Jarred Cozart was an issue in New York. He looked good early, an 8-0 lead. Game kind of got away from him. He was yanked from the game, 1 out away from a win. How does he get through the 5 today?
Get that first out and start throwing strikes early. If he's capable of doing this, and I've seen him do it before with the Astros, and I've seen him do it here also with the Marlins, get that first strike, that first out. If you're able to do that, you can go deeper in the game and give Don Mattingly an opportunity to leave him in that game.
So Jarred Cozart, Jhoulys Chacín ready to meet. It's the Braves, it's the Marlins. We finish off a 3-gamer. Nick Markakis has been hot, and he has hurt the Fish in the first 2. First pitch, all of that coming up from Miami. made. Got little leaguers out there, parents and kids. As the Braves and the Marlins get set to go, maybe Nick Markakis was in a parade, Craig, while you were doing one of your pregame shows in Atlanta, say 10 years ago.
Yes.
And he's really hurt the fish, hasn't he?
Well, he probably got to me with the sand and the dirt kicked up, and he certainly has gotten to the Marlins, Rich. As you know, back with Jeff Conine, Nick Markakis has not hit the home runs that the Braves may have been hoping for last year, but he's been nothing but successful putting the ball in play and driving in runs.
Well, he's just a professional hitter, like you say, in every sense of the word. You look at his home run totals, yes, but he played in one of the best home run parks in all of Major League Baseball in Baltimore. Right now, he's in a bigger park at Turner Field, but Nick Markakis, I played with him in 2006 when he first came up, first-round pick for the Baltimore Orioles. He's just a consummate professional. He's that quiet leadership in the clubhouse, but he's just a tremendous hitter, and he's absolutely killed the Marlins over the last 2 seasons coming over to the National League.
He has reached base safely at all 11 games. You look at his numbers against the Marlins the last 2 years, ridiculous, 342. He's got 12 RBIs to lead the Braves, too.
Yeah, 12 RBIs. This guy is a good situational hitter. He knows how to get guys over. He needs to get guys over. He's good at getting those big hits when they need them late in games. And a great pickup for the Atlanta Braves when they got Nick Markakis.
Prado's in the 2-hole, big news today. You like it?
I like it. I like the way he handles the bat, especially with D. Gordon on first base. He knows how to situational hit behind the runner. I like it.
All right, we'll look for that and a whole lot more coming up on a Sunday afternoon. We're ready for first pitch now. It's the Braves and the Marlins next on Fox Sports Florida.
Miami Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Marlins Park on a Sunday. A lot of kids here today. Busy brunch out in the Clevelander. And ready to go is Jarred Cozart. Start number 2. He will try to salvage game 3 for the Fish of a 3-gamer, which has seen the Atlanta Braves take the first 2. Nick Markakis in the box. And Markakis takes a fastball that misses out. Eric Cooper, Jim Wolf, Adrian Johnson, Gary Cederstrom, the umpires. Cooper behind the dish. And Markakis has been a pain in the neck with 2 big run-scoring hits to left field in each of the games, and he drives that one to left field and down the line. Yelich after it, has it in the corner, but Markakis with his major league leading 9th double of the season opens this ball game.
Well, Rich, you said it. He's been a pain in the neck for the Marlins, and one of the biggest reasons, we said it in the open, watch where this pitch is located. Outside away. Mathis wants it inside. Pitch tails that way, and he goes with it to left field. Understanding how to get on base and how to take that extra base hit right there. No problem whatsoever, easily getting in for the double.
So 9 doubles. You heard Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine document the damage he's done against the Marlins. And here's Eric Aybar now. Markakis at second. That one's in the air. Shallow left, and that's not going to advance the runner. Yelich makes the catch. Braves lineup on this Sunday looks this way. You've seen Markakis. You've met Aybar. Please welcome Freddie Freeman to the show. Adonis Garcia hits cleanup. AJ Pierzynski, also a pain in the neck to the fish. He's in the 5 spot. Lots of lefty bats from there. Kelly Johnson, Jace Peterson, Mallex Smith in center, and Jhoulys Chacin. It's brought to you by U Health. And by the way, good to see a crowd of over 32,000 last night on University of Miami night at the ballpark. Here's Freeman, 2 for 7 with a double in the series.
Really poor job right there by Eric Aybar, actually. The runners at second base early in the game, we're talking first inning, have to do everything possible to get Markakis to third base and make the job for Freddie Freeman a lot easier. First pitch, hitting a weak fly ball to left field, is not doing the job. Really surprised the way he has struggled that he didn't just try to lay one down and move him over.
And that's good context. He has struggled both in the fields and at the plate. Aybar, the 32-year-old veteran, after 11 years with the Angels, came over in the Andrelton Simmons trade. A 1 to Freeman. And a breaking ball from Jared Cozart misses in. Now Cozart historically has pitched well against the Braves. All of that history comes from the latter half of 2014 when he was really good as a Marlin. 4-4 with a 2.39 ERA. Freeman laces it into right. That's a base hit. Big hot for Stanton. Round third. Here comes Markakis, and Stanton's throw is airmailed all the way to the screen. And Freeman has himself an RBI single. Stanton going to his right. It was going to be a difficult throw, and he put a little too much air under it.
Well, watch where this pitch is located. Mathis again wants it inside, missing away. Freddie Freeman coming into his own in this series, hits it well. Markakis scores. Very aggressive. Bo Porter at third base, and you see the release point, elbow underneath. Giancarlo, no chance whatsoever with airmailing it all the way past home plate.
Freeman, once he saw the launch angle of the throw, took second. There's no error on the throw. And Adonis Garcia is up now, the Cuban third baseman for the Braves. An inauspicious start for the Marlins, who are trying to turn things around in this series. Garcia, 3 hits, has driven in 2 in the first 2 games. In the air and out of play. And it's 0-2. See Garcia's numbers. Came to the Braves from the Yankees organization. Of course, played 7 years in Cuba. Mathis is on his way out to talk to Jared Cozart. What do you take from Cozart's start in New York that he can apply to this start in the positive sense?
Well, you learn from your failures as a major leaguer, and right here, failing not to go deep in a game, especially having such a big lead, losing, you see 4 2/3 innings. You want him to get through that, past that, and you want him to be aggressive early. That first strike pitch, so important. Really struggled in New York to get it over the plate. There he was 12 for 21 first pitch strikes. Today so far, 3 of 4 first pitch strikes.
Don Mattingly has shaken up his batting order. The Marlins have called up a young bullpen arm in Kyle Barraclough. And so some changes after a Saturday night loss. The second straight loss to the Braves. 1-2 from Cozart. Got him. Good off speed. His first strikeout. And now with 2 outs, he'll go after A.J. Pierzynski. Miami's defense brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Well, the outfield remains the same. Yelich, Osuna, and Stanton in right. And then in the infield, Prado, Echeverria, Gordon, Bohr. The only change is Mathis behind the plate in the day game with Mr. Cozart on the mound.
A.J. Pierzynski. Pierzynski got the start last night, was 1 for 4, scored a couple runs, and he had one of the more subtle but large roles in this series. And you remember it back in the 8th inning, the Marlins' Wei-Yin Chen had pitched well enough to get a win, and Pierzynski hung in on a 2-strike pitch and it clipped his elbow, and then the Marlins unraveled from there. That pitch fools Mathis, and it goes to the screen. And the count is 2-0. Now, it was a bit of a rough ride for JT Realmuto in New York with Cozart. And a guy like Mathis, who is as good a receiver as you'll find, sound receiver in the game. It's an illustration that, which is a good thing, that Jarred Cozart's ball moves in a lot of different directions. 2-0.
And you're right, Rich, it does move in a lot of directions, and that's what JT Realmuto had told me in New York. He said he's the most difficult pitcher to catch. One, because consistently with the location struggles a bit, but then the ball moves, either it cuts, it sinks. No control over it.
Zips in a fastball for a strike, and it's 3-1 to Pierzynski.
And if it's hard to catch, it's hard to hit.
Right. That's right. And the other dynamic there, the cutter or the sinker is the hardest pitch for an umpire to stay locked in on, because it changes direction and dives and darts in the last 10 feet on its way to the plate.
Well, not only that, just imagine if it's hard to hit, it's hard to catch, it's definitely hard to call, because the inconsistencies of if he's going to stay inside, if he's going to pitch down low. With Jarred, it'll be around the plate. You just don't know what area of the plate it's going to.
3-2 coming, and a breaking ball, and it kicks in front of the plate, and it may have hit the foot of Pierzynski. Let's take a look, see if it got that back foot.
Can't tell from that angle, but just by looking at Mathis, you can tell it probably hit. See, it hit him right there in the foot.
Right. Now, the one thing, though, is the home plate umpire, Eric Cooper, did not call it such. He did not say it was a dead ball, which is obviously significant with a runner at third base. So Freeman and Mathis were both intent on finding the baseball. There's Freeman with Pierzynski across the diamond. Kelly Johnson now has a couple hits, including a double in the series.
That's good news right there. First pitch, getting me over, breaking ball for a strike. Now that puts the thought process on Kelly Johnson's mind. Okay, he has that in his back pocket. I can't give up on it now. It opens up the zone both inside and out for Jarred to go to.
He went on another breaking ball.
And that was because he threw that first pitch for a strike as a breaking ball. He then committed to that one, not knowing if it was going to be a strike or not. You see the recognition, tough too. He tried to check his swing. He could not do so. And now Jarred can go many ways right here. He can go fastball hard in, or he can go backdoor breaking ball.
Nice to have a guy like Mathis behind the plate to bury that 0-1 pitch. Here's the 0-2.
Decided to go with the fastball away, change the eyesight on Kelly Johnson, and as you said, having Mathis behind the plate is just a plus.
Johnson's 2 hits last night. Two and two.
Good
Mathis
block,
again.
right. Good block right there. I mean, runner at third base, keeping it in front of you. Having a backup catcher like this, veteran.
That was a great replay because you could see him identify the pitch, and you saw that glove spin right away. Two. And Johnson fouls it off. Kelly Johnson, a Brave, and of course a lot of different stops along the way.
Speaking with Don last week and Jared's last start, trying to minimize these 20-pitch innings. So far, this will be the 22nd pitch of the inning. This is what stops him from going deep into ball games.
2-2. It's fouled at the plate. And of course, the Marlins last night had their bullpen in that 4th inning. Tom Kohler 3 2/3. Chris Narveson, Craig Breslow, and Dustin McGowan. And it was McGowan who was designated for assignment as Kyle Barraclough has been called up.
You see that right there. That's Mathis identifying, talking to the, pretty much giving signals to the middle infielders where the throw is going if the runner decides to steal right here. Are they throwing through to third base or holding on to the baseball?
Runner goes, 2-2 pitch is up, and Pierzynski's going to get a rare stolen base. There is Kyle Barraclough, so he's in the Marlins bullpen. And Pierzynski gets a stolen base. Now that force is not in effect, but the Braves all of a sudden have 2 men in scoring position. And the 3-2 from Cozart. Fouled at the plate.
No matter what Johnson does here, this is a good quality at-bat. You see 8 pitches so far in this at-bat. Raising Jared Cozart's pitch count already to 24.
A run across on a Freddie Freeman single. Johnson asks for time. Pitch number 25 coming. Jace Peterson, the youngster, is on deck. And he missed. And Cozart's struggles continue. That's the first walk. If you make Pierzynski's a hit by pitch, which looked like it hit him in the toe. So a hit batter on a deep count, a walk on a full count. And it continues a trend. The Marlins starters are still looking for their first win of the season. Their ERA is above 5, and you can see the innings pitched. Now the Marlins, in terms of games played, this is game number 10. But still, it's a lot to keep asking of your bullpen to come in the 4th and the 5th inning and bail you out. Juan Nieves out for a visit.
When your starters are averaging less than 6 innings per start, that group of guys right there, as Jeff Fassero used to tell me, starts getting overexposed. Overexposure creates a lot of wear and tear on those arms.
Bags loaded. Peterson takes a breaking ball for a strike. Peterson, a 25-year-old out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Out of McNeese State, was also a defensive back there. And he was one of the pieces that the Padres dealt away. One of the many trades the Padres have made. And Peterson clobbers it to center field and deep. Ozuna back, and it's over his head, and it's off the wall. Freeman scores, Pierzynski scores, and Johnson comes across. And the Atlanta Braves, who had not won a game coming into this series, with wins on Friday and Saturday, have jumped all over Jared Cozart and have a 4-0 lead.
Well, again, he goes to the breaking pitch. Threw first pitch for a strike, get me over. This one, the same exact pitch as the first one. And major leaguers, you do not miss pitches like this. Up in the zone, Peterson barrels that baseball over Osuna's head.
Wow, and all of a sudden, 27 pitches in the inning, a 4-0 Braves lead. And here is Mallex Smith. First double for Peterson, who's actually in left field for only the second time in his career in this ballgame.
Now Jared's lost his arm slot when it comes to the fastball. He can throw the breaking pitch, but it's a quicker release. It's a higher release than the fastball, and he's now releasing it at the same point. That's why you see those fastballs out of the zone.
Juan Nieves on the phone, and that means someone's going to get up to throw. And as we pointed out, the Marlins bullpen has been used a lot. Fox track shows you Cozart's all over the place.
And you wonder, with the pitcher coming on deck, you just want to put Smith on right here and just go after Chacin. It seems like that was an intentional walk. Tony La Russa used that a lot.
Edwin Jackson is up. Former Brave. Jackson up in Miami's bullpen. Here is Chacin. And a strike. So if indeed he was, and it really looked like he was pitching around Smith, Chacin's the guy to get. In his career, Chacin has homered a 178 average. He homered as a Rocky, fittingly, at Coors Field. Bouncer to third. Prado crossed the diamond in time. 34 pitches and 4-0 Atlanta. Looking up at the Braves in the first two games, and here in the first inning they're down 4. UHealth brings you Miami's lineup, and if you haven't heard, the Marlins have tweaked it. Don Mattingly has moved Martin Prado to the 2 spot between Gordon and Yelich. Stanton still 4th. Justin Bour goes from 6th to 5th. Marcell Ozuna drops down to the 6th spot. Denny Echeverria having a nice start at short. Jeff Mathis in the 8th spot, and Jared Cozart hitting 9th. And here's a look at Jhoulys Chacin, who was dominant in his start against the Washington Nationals.
Well, you're looking at a guy that really depends a lot on his two-seam fastball. It sinks down and in on those righties, down and away on the lefties, and with the slider. Reminds me a lot of Joel Pinheiro when he was in his game with St. Louis and with the Angels. Down, down, down.
Dropping Joel Pinheiro right out of the chute.
Right out of the chute.
Outstanding right-handed pitcher. I saw him a lot when he was a Seattle Mariner. All right, you got D. Gordon, you got Martin Prado, Christian Yelich. Miami tries to climb back. Chacin, sinker misses low, and it's 1-1. Gordon going with the, I guess you could call them throwback socks.
80s?
Throwback to the 70s.
70s.
70s and maybe early 80s with the high stirrups and the high pants.
I didn't know they made those anymore.
Well, they're not really stirrups. As you can see, D's kind of improvised. But it's a sweet look, and he did it a few times on Sundays last year. Gordon bounces one out to second, gobbled up by Kelly Johnson. Jhoulys Chacin has the first out of the first inning. All right, defensively, here come the Atlanta Braves with some new faces and new places.
Well, talking about new places, how about Jace Peterson? You had said second start at left field, Smith in center, Markakis in right, infield. From third to first, we got Garcia, Ibar, Johnson, Freeman, Krzyzewski, the salty vet behind the plate, and Chacin on the mound.
All brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here's Prado now. A couple hits in this series. One of the frustrating things, and it's down the list certainly, at the very top, is that the Marlins have lost 2 to the Braves to open the series. But one aspect that is frustrating is that the Marlins, for the most part, have swung the bats pretty well in the 2 games. They left a slew of base runners on in game 1 in that 6-3 loss to the Braves. And then last night came from behind, got homers from Bour and Echeverria, and that still wasn't enough in a 6-4 loss.
Well, even though they're down 4-0 right now in the bottom of the first, a lot of time, don't try to make up all these runs with one swing, as they say in the dugout. Try to get on base, lengthen the lineup, and then if you're Chacin, throw strikes. Trust your stuff. Trust that the hitters will hit your sinker in a lot of ground balls and let your defense play for you.
Prado hits a high pop, shallow left. Ibar is out, and he makes the catch. Well, Chacin, we're talking about his start at Washington. 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and he did all of that in just 69 pitches. And because of the game, there was an opportunity to pinch hit for him. The Braves did. They went on to lose that ball game 2-1.
That's a tough decision right there for Fredi Gonzalez to make. Do you take him out or do you leave him in and trust that he can give you a couple more innings?
Yelich fouls it off his foot. Former skipper of the Fish. The Braves in their first 2 wins here in Miami. For whatever reason, the Braves have played well here at Marlins Park. Yelich, his hitting streak ended last night, but he was on base 3 times. He walked 3 times. And as funny as this sounds, it seems like pitchers are being more cautious with Yelich than they are with Stanton right now.
Well, he's the hot bat right now. He does a lot of things for you. 2-seam pitcher, look for him to go the other way if the pitch is away.
Yelich center field. Smith is there, and he makes the catch. And Jhoulys Chacin this year has thrown 7 shutout innings. It's 4-0 Atlanta.
Marlins Baseball es presentado en español vía SAP por Kendall Toyota.
In Miami, a rough start for Jarred Cozart and the Marlins. The Braves send 9 men to the plate, 4 of them score. 3 hits, 2 walks, a hit batter, mix in a stolen base. And Cozart is right back where he started, facing Nick Markakis to open an inning. Markakis doubled, because that's what Markakis does this year. He has 9 of them. Auto Nation brings you the scouting report for Nick Markakis.
Looking at 9 doubles so far this season with a .342 average in 19 games versus the Fish in the last 2 seasons.
1 ball, 1 strike. At the letters. Markakis is 32, and he had neck surgery, a disc issue, between his last year in Baltimore and his first year in Atlanta. And some wondered whether he would be worth the investment that the Braves made to him. He's a different hitter than he was back when he called Jeff Conine a teammate, back when he was a young Baltimore Oriole. But that doesn't mean he's not a good hitter. He's just a different hitter. He doesn't have the power, but he drives it gap to gap. Very smart. 2-2. Pitch is up. It's 3-2.
He's been missing a lot away on left-handed hitters and up in the zone. Your pitching coach right now, Juan Nieves, probably looking at that arm angle. A little low.
Pitch is in. Tried to cut it. Tried to catch the corner. And it's a leadoff walk. Edwin Jackson was up in the first inning.
Watch this pitch right here. Looks like it was just a bit inside. See it on the Fox tracks. Bottom left, pitch number 6. He's been up and away most of the time, and then all of a sudden, he's asking Eric Cooper behind the plate to make that call. It was off the plate.
Now Ibar. One and 0.
Again, falling behind. This is where Don Mattingly wants his pitcher to get in and get out, maybe with a 12-pitch inning. Try to salvage what was left from that first inning.
Ibar swings and misses. Now the flurry of trades that the Braves have made over the last season and a half. Andrelton Simmons opened a lot of eyes. You felt Simmons would be at shortstop. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves for many, many years. But in that sequence of trades, Ibar returns, probably just to keep the spot warm. No. That is a fair ball. The throw to second is in time. Nice play by Justin Bour. Echeverria with the tag to get Markakis in a much-needed double play.
No mistake what Justin does right here. He has this planned out. Ball's on his left side. Steps on and makes an accurate, strong throw to second base. See him right there. Take that step. Not worry where Markakis is. Just throw it. Hits Echeverria right in the chest and is able to place a tag.
Freddie Freeman coming up. So Markakis and Ibar out. Freeman with the count 0-1. He had an RBI single to start things in the first. Keep this name in the back of your mind, and in a couple of years you may be hearing it a lot. Dansby Swanson is was the I guess the #1 prospect that came in all those trades. He came from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Swanson.
Vanderbilt, right?
Vanderbilt. He was the first overall pick of the 2015 draft. Shortstop, he's a Brave. And in 2 or 3 years, maybe 2, we'll see him in the big leagues.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's faster than that. The personality that Dansby has is a leadership quality. Very sure of himself, easy to talk to.
That was in the Shelby Miller trade. The Braves also got Ender Inciarte, who's a terrific player, and not playing in this series is hurt. Freeman walks. Here's Adonis Garcia. All right, I'll give Dansby Swanson until mid-2017.
Okay, I'm with you.
I was a little high with 2 years.
You can't really start his clock early, but the kid has been a gamer all throughout, and every hitter so far this inning, first pitch they've been out in front 1-0. Jared right now struggling trying to get that fastball location. He's missed it in several spots.
And if you're Don Mattingly right now and Juan Nieves, you're looking not only at the scoreboard, but you're also checking back on your charts in terms of innings pitched, pitches thrown by guys in your bullpen. Chris Narveson, for one, has worked in 2 consecutive games, including 2 1/3, and as the main long guy in Miami's pen is probably not available in this game. Breaky ball and a swing and a miss.
And Rich, we already saw that he had started the bullpen with warming up with Edwin Jackson. That was in the first inning. Pitching coaches, managers, they have to be able to monitor their bullpen usage also. You can't just start warming up Jackson again and then have him sit down if he gets Garcia out here. He has to wear it a little bit, has to be able to hold this deficit right now at 4 and give the offense an opportunity. But he has to trust his stuff, has to trust the fastball. Body language right now is not the same that I saw last year and in the previous years with Houston.
1-2 breaking balls fouled off of Mathis and stays at 1-2. How far Mathis sets up out and how far Cozart missed his target by. Mathis was set up about 6 to 12 inches off the plate and down below the knees, and Cozart missed over the plate and well over the strike zone. Runner goes, 2-2 pitch on the ground. Echeverria gobbles it up, gets the out, and Cozart gets to the second. 4-0 Atlanta. Jared Cozart, a frustrating start, and it shows in the dugout right now. You see the numbers, 4 runs already in a couple of innings. And Miami will try to start the climb back. Jhoulys Chacín went 1-2-3 in the first. Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna in a revamped Miami lineup. Martin Prado up in the second spot. Bour hitting 5th, Ozuna hitting 6th. And a first pitch fastball is strike 1 to Stanton, who really struggled last night. He was 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. We've seen Stanton in his career go through some valleys like this. The good news is on the other end of the valley is usually a 3 or a 4 homer week.
And I was speaking earlier with A.J. Pierzynski, the catcher for the Braves, and he said, you know, we got lucky. He hasn't been on fire, but he can snap out of it just with 1 pitch, so we're always very careful.
That's a pitch that troubled him last night, that sweeping slider. Fastball, and he swings, misses it, and strikes out. He's tagged out by Pierzynski, who didn't catch it cleanly.
Chacín gave him an arsenal of 2-seam, then that slider, and this one more of that 4-seam, had more straight, didn't sink whatsoever. Tough to hit, and AJ would tell you right there, tough to catch.
Now Justin Bour. And fastball misses in. Braves infield is shifted, though not to the extreme that we've seen. And it looks like teams are starting to dial back the shift against Bour with all the hits to left field. He had one last night that drove in a run, as well as a home run, his first of the year, to right field.
That's a sign of a little respect when you start hitting the ball the other way. They're like, he had a rocket also at third base 2 nights ago that was caught. So they're just not flares. He's hitting it with authority.
Chacín has that one miss outside. Counts 3-0 to Bour, who's also walked 3 times in this series. His on-base percentage well over 400 to start the season. And so if you're looking for some good news, that's good news. Justin Bour off to a solid start at the plate. Outside corner. Bour, right center field, hit well. Smith, shy of the track, makes the catch. There's 2 outs here in the second. Marlins and Nationals tomorrow open up a 4-gamer. Starts at 7 o'clock. The all-you-can-eat seats tomorrow. And you can eat a lot of that, a lot of hot dogs. You also get the $+ discounts, just $25. Enjoy unlimited hot dogs, peanuts, popcorn, nachos, Pepsi, and Aquafina water. Marlins.com for tickets. All-you-can-eat seats on Monday home games. And the tickets start just $25.
Better behave on Mondays, Rich.
Ozuna pulls one down the third base line. All right, Eduardo. Ozuna now in the 6th spot. What does that do for him as a hitter?
It takes the pressure off. I mean, you're looking at a guy that was in the 2 spot with Dee Gordon in front of him. All of a sudden now you have Justin Bour in front of him, Giancarlo Stanton. Not a lot of speed. Not to take anything away from Justin, but he's no Dee Gordon. And it'll create more of that, more fastballs for him.
Smith calls Markakis off and makes the catch. And Jhoulys Chacín has retired all 6 that he's faced. presented by the Authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. It can be streamed live, however, on Fox Sports Go because, well, we here at Fox got permission. That's the way you got to do it. AJ Pierzynski bounces it out to short. Echeverria on to first, and that's a good start for Cozart. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's a huge start to this inning. Pierzynski always been aggressive at the plate. You can get that first out. Get it out of the way on 1 pitch, on the 55th pitch of the game for Jared.
Eduardo, we saw Don Mattingly greet Cozart, first guy to talk to him when he stepped in the dugout after that 4-run first. And I'm sure what he was telling him was, look, we need you to get deep. You know, you've had a lot of pitches. We need 3 or 4 more innings out of you at the least. So try to get it together.
You have to be able to save that bullpen. That bullpen has been depleted. This is the time where starting pitchers have to go out there and wear it one way or another, but be aggressive in the zone.
And you think about, go back to game 1 when the Braves were trailing 3-0 in the 5th inning of that Friday game, and the Braves played it like it was the 9th inning and they were up 3-0. They mixed and matched with lefties, righties, got out of a tough inning, kept it at 3-0, and then lo and behold, their ball club got some runs, got to Miami's pen, as well as a couple runs against Wei-Yin Chen, and won that game. Kelly Johnson battling with a count 1-2.
The clear observation from knowing Jared from the Astro days when I was a bench coach there, he has to find out who he is as a pitcher. You have to identify, am I a swing and miss pitcher? Am I a ground ball pitcher? Am I a fly ball pitcher? Looking at his numbers in the past, they're inconsistent. Sometimes he'll strike out a lot, as we see here. Sometimes he'll have a lot of ground balls, and sometimes it'll be fly balls. You can't have it all 3 ways. You have to be able to identify who you are and pitch to your strength. And that way you'll go further in games, and you'll give your pitching coach and you'll give the staff as a whole an idea of what type of pitcher you are, so they can play better defense behind you. And at the same time, the catcher can put down the right digits for you to throw and get those outs at a quicker pace with a lower pitch count.
Of his 63 pitches, the one he'd probably like to have a do-over on was the breaking ball that he threw to Jace Peterson. Peterson blasted it off the wall in center field for a 3-run double.
Right, and right here, what did Peterson? Breaking ball first time up. This time 2 fastballs out of the zone. He has to come right down the middle right there with a 2-0 pitch. Just hit the corner. Jason locked in, took it because that's not the pitch he's looking for.
On the ground, Prado crossed the diamond in a 1-2-3 inning for Jared Cozart. It's 4-0 Atlanta. is the presenting sponsor of Marlins Baseball. That's just like you, Eduardo. That's how you spent your Saturday night, right?
Oh, should have seen me last night. That's the boom moves I was making. It's Sunday fun day, Rich.
It is, although it's not much fun if you're a Miami Marlin right now.
There's
Down
still time.
4-0.
Still time.
Oh, absolutely. Danny Echeverria, Jeff Mathis, and Jared Cozart, for all of the work and laboring that Cozart has done. Jhoulys Chacín has been very streamlined in this one. 27 pitches in his first 2 innings. He spins one up there and gets a strike to Echeverria. Danny homered to left center last night. Right back to Chacín. There's one out. You can't watch the games on television. You can stream them now live on your mobile device. Go to the App Store and download Fox Sports Go. It's free. Log in, stream the Marlins wherever you go. Mathis getting the start. Jeff is 0 for 3. Who knows? Maybe for a guy like Jhoulys Chacín, escaping Coors Field might breathe new life into his career.
Well, not only that, I mean, he had some shoulder issues and was able to overcome them and is now becoming that pitcher that showed a lot of promise early on in his career there with the Rockies. And the cool thing is when you're a two-seam pitcher, you don't try to overpower anyone. You're throwing pitches at 88, 89 miles per hour. But most importantly, you're in a fielding position once you throw it. You see how calm, cool, and collective he is, in position to field anything right back at him. Doesn't fall off to the left, doesn't turn around and do a 360.
Mathis chases. And there are 2 outs. Cozart coming up. One of the traditions in baseball, if you're a baseball fan, is on Sundays, here's a look at that breaking ball, taking a peek at league leaders, standings, and all of that. Teams that jump out in the standings, the Nationals have won 7 straight. They are 9-1. Baltimore is 8-3 on top of the East. They've been hot. Cozart to right. Markakis is there. He makes the catch. All 9 he's faced, Jhoulys Chacín has retired.
Our Marlins game, Atlanta leading Miami 4-0 in the South Florida Ford Dealers Autism Awareness Day. Al Young is a friend and had a chance to talk to many times on a lot of different sports outlets here, Al. But today it's a very special cause, I know, for South Florida Ford.
Absolutely, and for the Marlins. How cool is this, right? All these people here for Autism Awareness Day, Ford/Marlins Autism Awareness Day. Well, it's Autism Awareness Month, lighted up blue at 16,000 entities around the world, the Eiffel Tower, Wall Street, all the way up to the space station. We have 400 kids here today, autistic kids, and we just had a little child, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy, throw out the first pitch, an autistic boy today. So the Marlins and Ford partnering up once again.
Raised quite a bit of money, too, I know, for South Florida and not only Palm Beach County, but down in Broward and Miami.
Absolutely. Up in Palm Beach, we raised 500 grand with 10 to 12,000 people. A couple of weeks ago in Miami, we had 26,000 and hoping to have $750,000 raised. So that's almost a few $1 million in just a few weeks.
It's a personal item as well for you. We've talked before, your son is autistic, and at first you didn't want to sort of champion this cause because you thought it was personal, but now you're realizing you're really touching a lot of people.
Well, you know, the first year I went, I watched the women get together. There was 1,000 or 2 people, and I stayed away because I didn't want to be self-serving. I didn't want to use my resources that way. So I watched it for a year or so, and I went back the next year and I said, you know what? If not me, who? So we joined, then the Marlins joined, then the Dolphins joined, and the Panthers joined, and look at what we have now. We're raising big-time money down here, and we're proud to do that. You know, Ford's a 100-year-old icon company. We're proud to be here. We're proud to be partners with the Marlins. It's all good.
We have the Ford models today as well.
We have promo queens, so it's our girls. They not only look good, they are smart girls. Come see them. We're at Tortuga Music Festival. They'll be around. Miss Heather, she owns the company. She works with my staff. Hey, pleasant.
Not too bad, guys. Now we'll go back to your booth there, Rich and Eduardo, so we have time to chat here.
Yeah, but you know what, Craig? Maybe we'll have those the Ford folks back. Remember the fantasy auction last year?
Yes.
You had a couple of Ford
we did.
assistants
We
up at the big board.
We can offer at least, Rich. We'll offer.
Yes, we can. All right, the good stuff, and a great job by everybody with Ford and the ability to raise funds for autism. Autism awareness. 2-2 pitch coming. Jared Cozart, Malik Smith, Jhoulys Chacin, and Nick Markakis. Touched upon some of the stories in baseball, at least in the first 2 weeks. Cubs 9-2, Nationals 9-1. Baltimore surprising in the American League East. Breaky ball and a strike and a strikeout for Jared Cozart. Cozart has now retired 5 straight.
Gets that breaking ball coming in back door. Malik's just missing it after fouling off a couple tough fastballs up in the zone.
Always like once a week looking at the league leaders. Chacin bounces it to short. And always early in the season, there's a name or two that pops up in the league leaders that you're not that familiar with, that you never expected.
Who's it this week?
Well, in home runs, last week it was Trevor Story, right?
Right.
Okay. Story's still on top with 7 homers. Batting average, let's go to the top hitters in the National League. Daniel Murphy at 438, Dexter Fowler at 417, Jeremy Hazelbaker from St. Louis is hitting 406, just in front of Christian Yelich. Hazelbaker is the guy that you didn't expect up there.
Signed as a free agent and had a very impressive spring training. Actually, I'll be seeing him tomorrow. Very impressive free agent signing that wasn't supposed to really have that big of an impact at all, and he's gone in and done a nice job for the Cardinals.
Nick Markakis has doubled and walked. He's 5 for 9 in this series, and it seems like all the hits hurt from a Marlins perspective. And he takes out. Last year, Markakis just under 300 at 296. Very nice 370 on base at 38 doubles. Like I said, he's no longer a home run hitter. Had just 3 last year. Cozart gets it, and it looks like he's found his groove. Jared Cozart's retired 7 straight, 4-0 Atlanta. Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By your Supercuts, save time. Check in online with our mobile app or at supercuts.com. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Jared Cozart has found his groove after a rocky road in the first 2 innings. He's retired 7 straight. Rich Waltz, Eduardo Perez, Craig Minervini on this Sunday in Miami. The problem the Fish have now is that Jhoulys Chacín has not given up a run yet. And that includes this game and his first start of the year, Washington, D.C. Top of the order, second time through. Chacín has faced the minimum. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, and Christian Yelich.
Well, he was superb in his last outing and has continued to do the same thing. Pretty much banana peeling that home plate area. And let me explain a little bit more about the banana peel. You're looking at that 2-seam fastball that goes away from lefties into righties, and then he'll throw that slider that goes into lefties, away to righties, and just peeling off each corner.
I like that, using fruit to diagram a pitch direction.
Stay healthy.
All right, we'll pick another one later in the ball game. Big discounts, all the Marlin action for less than new steals and deals Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, steals and deals. Big discounts in most seating categories for Tuesday home games. And obviously this Tuesday, Marlins at Nationals, 7:10. Go to marlins.com today and look for your steals and deals Tuesday offer. Strike to Prado. Jhoulys Chacín did not give up a run in 6 innings, while striking out 8 in the game you touched on at Nationals Park.
Just really good getting ahead of hitters, and right there now it can go so many ways. That slider's really working for him. Going across the plate, has a little tilt sometimes when he wants to. Good purpose pitch right there, moving Martin's feet. Let's see if AJ tries to go inside or with a slider away.
Into center field, Miami has their first hit.
You see AJ Pierzynski's first instinct, let's go 2-seamer. That's when he puts that 1 and he wiggles his fingers. Instead, Chacín wanted the slider. He obliged. Slider stayed out over the plate with 2 strikes. That's a big no-no when it's an 0-2 count. Sometimes you have to pay attention to that veteran. See the signs being changed right there. Nice piece of hitting by Martin.
Now Yelich. Yelich entered the game 4th of the National League in hitting. On base percentage, 2nd. Dexter Fowler just a few points ahead of him. Fowler part of that great start by the Cubs. Prado at first, Stanton on deck. And Yelich fouls it at the plate. 3 walks last night, but no hits, so the hitting streak ended. Yelich started the season hot, an 8-game streak.
See how those knuckles are aligned right there, just using those fingers, creating that flexibility and that power, that whip with the bat. That's how you're supposed to grip a baseball bat, not try to choke the bat with it out of the thumb. He's using those fingers perfectly aligned. That's fundamental right there when you're gripping that baseball bat.
Yelich takes in. Yelich also 3rd in the National League in walks. Gregory Polanco and Odubel Herrera in front of him. Check swing, no swing. You can see Yelich started and held it. And it's 2-2. First base runner, Martin Prado. Chacín had retired the first 10 he faced. Yelich pulls a ground ball. Freeman way off to get it. Flips, and Chacín is there. 2 outs, and now Giancarlo Stanton.
As fundamental as that little ground ball was to first base, actually a very good job by Freeman being able to give Chacín a nice feed at first base. On the go. Watch this right here. Watch that last hop off the bounce. Comes back to Freddie. Stays there and then has to quickly lead Chacín to the bag. Nicely done.
Giancarlo Stanton struck out in the second in an at-bat that was very similar to last night in some of his strikeouts. 6 of his last 7 at-bats have been punch-outs. And he chases a slider.
He's searching right now. Usually those pitches are the ones that he lays off. He'll get there.
Well, the pattern the last 2 nights has been slider away, and then a fastball up. And that's what got him his last 2 at-bats last night and his first at-bat today.
And don't be surprised, Adrian Pierzynski. So you show you can hit it, you'll probably stay to the same MO.
No swing. It's 1-2.
And a lot of people at home are probably wondering, well, why is he jumping out in front? I mean, it's a toughie. You see how he's going out, trying to rush it? Actually, sometimes if you start a little bit earlier, you'll have more of an opportunity to see it out of the hand and give yourself an opportunity to commit.
And now you see Stanton. The check swing was a take, and that was a clean take. And so he's seen 4 sliders.
Right, but you said it earlier. Yesterday it was slider, fastball, and he was chasing. Now they went away from that game plan. Let's see if they go back to it.
Slider away, and so Stanton tightening up a bit in terms of pitch recognition has run the count to 3-2. Now do they throw the 6th slider of the at-bat?
I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't throw it in the strike zone. If he throws it in the strike zone, this might hit Craig out there.
The 3-2. Got him. Swing and a miss at a slider. Chacín strikes out Stanton for the 2nd time. has arrived in Miami. The crowd here at Marlins Park today is trending younger.
It is. It's Sunday Fun Day, Rich.
It is. Much younger than us. A lot of kids here. Big parade.
Oh, speak for yourself. I'm pretty young right now.
Fastball is a strike. And we told you that this year the Clevelander is a little different on Sundays. They have a great Sunday brunch out there, and it's a kid-friendly zone on Sundays. So a lot of kids out there. I think the pool probably gets a lot more action with the kids.
I see a little bit of splashing out there.
Looks like someone's
There
got
we
a birthday.
I hope they sent a piece of cake up
That
there.
is a birthday cake. End of the bat, Prado snares it, and Ibar is out number 1.
Rich, let's go back to this birthday cake.
How sweet is that?
In a couple innings, hopefully.
You want to sing happy? Look at the kids seeing themselves on television. Happy birthday, Billy.
Is there any way we could relay a message through our camera or something here, like send some over? That would be nice.
They can't eat it all, right?
No, they can't. I'll give that lost puppy dog look.
Well, I mean, the one guy you could trust to go out there and relay the message and find out how the birthday is going is Craig Minervini.
I don't think that cake will make it up here.
Oh, here's the
If we
1-0
send
pitch.
Craig.
And it's a strike. Freddie
Just
Freeman, RBI single, and he has walked. Story of Jared Cozart in this one has been a real struggle early. 4 runs in that first inning, couple walks in the second. But once he got Adonis Garcia to finish off the second inning, Cozart has been sailing. He's set down 8 in a row, and a big breaking ball for a strike. It's 2-2. That is strike 3 called.
That's the difference between Jared Cozart early in the game trying to hit that inside part of the plate. Couldn't do it this time. Mathis wants it on the inside corner. He gets it. First inning, Freeman hit that hard shot, RBI, double. Actually single, going to second on the throw. And he missed location, not this time. Tell with the body language right now, Jared, completely different. More positive.
Adonis Garcia. That's a strike. Garcia an 0 for 2. Wow, everything looks different coming out of Cozart's hand right now.
A lot better tempo, getting that, throwing the baseball, and then just 3 steps back on the rubber, asking for that baseball. Tell.
Easy.
Jared Cozart has retired 10 straight. Atlanta 4-0 lead. Cozart at the end of the first inning. Decidedly different here. Checking in to see if he's got another one in him. Cozart, who's gone 5. Now the talk goes, all right, do we stay with him here? Juan Nieves, Mattingly, Tim Wallach, all involved in the conversation. So 10 straight for Cozart. Meanwhile, the Marlins are trying to solve Jhoulys Chacín. And the Marlins bullpen is active right now, so maybe that's it. Or they may have somebody up just in case Cozart's spot comes up in the order and they need a pinch hitter.
And I think that is exactly what's going on. Let the pitcher know his state of mind. Listen, you're still in this game. The reason we have the pen working is if it gets an opportunity to tie it or to get some points on the board, some runs on the board, we are going to hit for you.
Bohr, Marcell Ozuna, Adeiny Hechavarria. And a fastball misses away. Marlins got their first hit and their only base runner against Chacín in the 4th. A Martin Prado single.
That's a pitch Chacín wanted. Up and in. Wanted the call. Let's see which way he goes right here. Shaking off Pierzynski again.
Got a Bohr tried to pull a pitch that he's been hitting to left field with frequency. Fox Sports Support's proud to team up with Surfrider Foundation in celebration of this month's Every Day is Earth Day initiative. By making simple changes in our daily lives, we can make a big impact on the environment. Go to foxsportsupports.com. Learn more about what you can do to be part of the solution. Love the sound effects with the waves coming in. And a breaking ball to Marcell Ozuna as a strike.
Oh, yes. That'll put you to sleep. Relaxing.
Very nice. It's 0-1. And it's in. Well, the Marlins obviously have not hit Chacín. They have just one hit, and they really haven't pushed his pitch count up to the point of him exiting anytime soon. You see 63 pitches. Cozart back in the dugout. Marlin pen still active. Wow. Jhoulys Chacín looks like he did when he was in his prime as a Rocky.
Well, he's getting you out with different pitches. This time that slider, the same one he got Stanton out on, takes a little bit more off it. Difficult to get the timing down, but at the same time, he keeps you honest with that 2-seam fastball on the inside part to right-handed hitters.
It's almost like that Stanton at bat allowed him to really sharpen up the slider. He threw 6 of them, or excuse me, threw 7 of them in that at bat. And he breaks out the slider, punches out Bohr and Ozuna, so he struck out 3 in a row and 5 in the ballgame. And here's Hechavarria with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th.
I think this is a match made in heaven also for Jhoulys Chacín. His pitching coach, Roger McDowell, notoriously known for his 2-seam fastball, inducing a lot of double plays, a lot of ground balls, is a man that can really refine and force you to throw that pitch down and in, down and in.
Hechavarria to right and well hit, but foul and into the seats.
Looks like Jhoulys right there tried to overthrow that 2-seam fastball and flattened out up in the zone. There's Roger. There's Roger. That'll confirm it.
That's right. It's a good way to do it. On the ground, Ibar to first. Jhoulys Chacín has been terrific. And the Braves lead Miami 4-0.
Early on, the story of Jared Cozart wasn't good. See location missing right there. Freddie Freeman bringing the RBI in. Again, Jace Peterson hanging it. That's what'll happen. A little frustration will set into Cozart, and now he just calms down. Throws that breaking ball down zone. Throws it up in the zone for a strike, and then finally establishing the inside part of the plate, getting strike 3. Doing a nice job. Don Mattingly has to be happy with the way Jared has been able to bounce back in this game.
A.J. Pierzynski, and Pierzynski takes out. After that first inning, Mattingly met him in the dugout, and you talked about the discussion and had to be along the lines of, hey, get it together. I need you to get deep in this game. The bullpen was used a lot last night in a short start by Tom Kohler. And Cozart, to his credit, found his groove at the end of the second. He's retired 10 in a row.
I remember my father always telling me what a bulldog Nolan Ryan was. He might give up 7 or 8 early on in the first and second inning, but he'll give you those 7 or 8 strong innings to get your team back in it. Give the opportunity to keep the bullpen out of the game.
Gordon gets around it and throws quickly to first to get the outs. Time now for the Geico Marlins moment. 2003, a World Championship season. Luis Castillo stole 3 bases in a 7-3 win over the Phillies. First of his 10 career 3-steal games on this date, 2003. Johnson's walked and struck out. 4 bobbles. Cozart's there. The Marlins get that out. So that's 12 in a row that Cozart has retired.
Oh, the luxury of being a first baseman. I miss those days. You can clank it. Don't panic. Make sure the pitcher's there. Recover and throw a strike right to him.
Yeah, the second part of that equation is the important one. The pitcher being there. And Cozart was there. Here's Jace Peterson. Anything mechanically different from innings 1 and 2 to this run of 12 straight retired?
His arm slot completely consistent now compared to trying to find it early on. It's not that low. It's up, and every pitch has a purpose. Even that ball right there, moving Jace Peterson's feet, establishing that he can throw inside now. Don't get too comfortable. It'll open up for the breaking ball and the fastball again. See, that's a good pitch right there. That's a pitch I believe Jared wanted. Thinks he had it in the top of the zone. See how it's kissing the Fox tracks? Could have gone either way.
3-1. See the pitch count. Pitch number 100 is coming. Jhoulys Chacín, by the way, has thrown just 68 in his 5 innings. Juan Nieves back on the phone. They lost him. So Peterson is aboard. And Mallex Smith now is the hitter. Marlins obviously would love Cozart to finish this inning for a lot of reasons. It's a lot cleaner way to go to your bullpen, and Cozart's due up second in the 6th inning, bottom half.
Well, they're going to give him every opportunity. I think he has 2 more hitters to prove. I don't see them taking him out to face Chacín.
On the ground, off of Prado's glove. Echeverria has it, and with Smith's speed, he'll get to first easily. Hit or error probably being decided right now.
Probably give that a hit and scold it. Let's check and see again. The replay, that's a tough skip off the glove. With the speed of Smith, have to be playing that shallow, that close to the plate.
I would concur with a base hit on that. But as you noted, this is probably the last guy that Cozart faces, one way or the other. Because if by any means Chacín extends the inning, Nick Markakis is on deck, and that is an error on Martin Prado.
That's a tough error. That right there is a tough error.
Oh, 0-2. Cozart's tempo, body language, everything has changed. That walk to Peterson snapped the run of 12 consecutive retires. Obviously, the Braves are hoping to get a couple more innings out of Chacín.
Tried to overthrow that pitch right there, knowing that this is probably his last hitter. Stay down, stay in control.
Into center field, that's a base hit. Peterson will score. Jhoulys Chacín, a career 170 hitter, gets to Cozart. The Braves have their 5th run. And Don Mattingly, in all likelihood, is coming to get Cozart with a double switch.
And that's not what he wanted to do. You have to take Marcell Ozuna out of the game and bring Ichiro in to hit in the 9th spot. And Morris will then now hit in the 6th spot in Ozuna's place. Tough pitch, slider up in the zone. Chacín made him pay.
Brian Morris coming in, 5-0 Atlanta. Kendall Toyota call to the pen.
Park. It is a family Sunday. Last year they started the family Sundays here in the Clevelander. A lot of kids swimming and birthday parties. Scott Hirsch, great spot for happy birthday, by the way, Evan.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, great spot for the family.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, they do a great job over here. Great Sunday family day here at the Clevelander at Marlins Park. So
how many people you have at the birthday party?
About 30, and they accommodated us great. So yeah.
What do you think about a birthday here? What's the best thing about being a birthday here?
It's great, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Great. What's that?
It's awesome. It's fun.
Kids are having a good time.
Birthday. It's an awesome birthday.
Awesome birthday. I tell you what, the view. Scott, you were here last year. The view here with the fence down.
We lowered the fence a few feet. It looks amazing. You can see right out over the whole field. It's awesome.
We have a birthday cake here. Would I be able to get 2 pieces for Rich Walton and Eduardo for us?
Normally we were, but we're such a big group, we ate all the cake.
Oh.
Sorry about that, guys.
I see some. They're going to eat the rest.
Oh, they eat the rest, yeah.
All right. There's a lot left, but apparently these kids are very hungry.
Yeah.
So we're not able to bring that up?
No, we're not. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Next time.
Hey, Craig.
I'll have a piece, though. Just
Craig,
yes. Yes.
What are you holding in your hand?
Well, there's one for me, but I don't think we had enough for it.
You know, we could probably squeeze a couple pieces for him.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
made
we'll
my
get
night. Made my day.
See, I told him already
All
to say
right.
we could not give you any pieces, but okay, we'll bring 2 up for you.
All right, very nice. Thank you. Brian Morris facing Nick Markakis. Second pitch of the at-bat. Runners at the corners for the Braves. A run across. They've chased Jared Cozart. As Eduardo mentioned on the way out, Marlins will make a double switch. So Ichiro is in the 9 spot. And Morris resides in the 6 spot. That's where Marcell Ozuna was. He came out in the double switch. 2-0 to Markakis. Bangs one over the middle. Echeverria is there. Prevents another run. Gets to the bag. Inning over. 5-0 Atlanta. Top bottom 6. Marlins trying to solve the puzzle that is Jhoulys Chacín this afternoon. Marlins Live tomorrow, brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig Minervini. Carl Pavano joins him. That's because Jeff Conine will be up in the booth up here. Nationals come to town. Jose Fernandez start. Tanner Roark goes for the Nationals. Marlins will see Roark, Strasburg, Joe Ross, and then Max Scherzer in a 4-game series that starts tomorrow night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night games, and then a Thursday afternoon. Now, solving Chacín. Eduardo, where do you head as a hitting coach or a hitter to try to get something started against a guy that has given up just 1 hit in 5 innings?
you have to commit to one pitch, and that's the fastball. He's been throwing that slider really good. See it right there. But you can always adjust to it, and then you can recognize when he throws it out of the zone. Very good so far, being able to split the plate on both corners with the off-speed stuff away and the hard fastball, sinking fastball in.
0-2. Mathis. And that's going to be a base hit. So that's a start. Translate commit to the fastball. What does that mean in layman's terms?
Well, it just seems right now the players are caught in between of either looking for the slider, and then they'll get the fastball and they're late on it. And it's a low 90s, high 80s fastball that if you commit to it, he will throw it to you, and he'll throw it in the zone. He's already shown that he can do that. But you have to trust your abilities to recognize the off-speed pitch and stay back, just like Jeff did right there.
Ichiro now. And takes outside. Ichiro came in the double switch. This is first at bat. Got a start on the road trip and responded with a double. Flips that one foul and out of play. Fouls that one back. Ichiro entered the season needing 65 hits to get to 3,000. He's picked up a couple. Right now 2 for 7. Of course, with his first hit of the year, he passed Barry Bonds on the all-time list. That one over the middle into center field. That's a hit for Ichiro. And Mathis takes third, and Miami is in business. Down 5-0, but 2 hits to open up the 6th.
All around, good piece of hitting with 2 strikes to protect the plate by Ichiro. Has always had that hand-eye coordination, pounding it on the ground, seeing eye base hit, but most importantly, Jeff Mathis right there. Beautiful base running. See the slide stepping and then recognizing it, not needing Lenny Harris at third base to let him know to go to third. You're your own coach when the ball's in front of you. Nicely done.
Yeah, Frank Robinson next on the list. Here's D. Gordon. He pulls a ground ball wide of first. Gordon has bounced to second twice in this ball game against Chacin, who has not walked a hitter, has struck out 5. See the all-time list of rows on top. Ichiro marching towards 3,000. Ichiro runs, pitches out, throw down to second, and he is safe.
Well, Ibar right there is claiming that came in and he probably got Ichiro before he even got to the bag. Yeah, good call by Adrian Johnson. You see the jump that Ichiro had here. Steals, and then tries to push him off the bag, but he's able to stay on.
Yeah, the foot stayed on.
5-0, Marlins still showing aggressiveness.
Braves video room right now watching that play. He beat the throw, and after the collision stayed on the bag. Watch the foot of Ichiro locked on.
Stays on it earlier today. Bryce Harper was called out at second, sliding into second in the tag. Now a lot of shorts, middle infielders in general are taught, place the tag and keep the tag on because of replay. Some guys slide past the bag between legs also, and that's what happened today in DC with Bryce Harper, which we'll actually be visiting us tomorrow.
Harper and the Nationals here for 4, starting tomorrow night. 1-2 from Chacin. Gordon fouls it back to the screen. So a great opportunity to pick up 2. And the Braves bullpen is busy from both sides. Mathis a single, Ichiro a single, and both balls almost in the exact same spot, over the mound and right into center. Fastball in. You saw Pierzynski try to snap it back for the benefit of Eric Cooper.
He did. One of the best at doing that was Greg Maddux back in the day. Trying to freeze you inside. The only difference is Mad Dog would have that heavy sink, throw it right at your hips, and then come right back over the plate.
And Gordon steps out. Best opportunity of the day so far for Miami. Gordon flips it into left field. It's going to fall for a hit. Ichiro holds. Strong throw from Peterson. Mathis scores. Miami's on the board. And runners at the corners.
Give a lot of credit to D. Gordon with 2 strikes. Putting bat on ball, making things happen. Getting that base hit, and watch Ichiro at second base right here. First thinks, okay, it's gonna land, then he hesitates, and that slight hesitation right there. Lenny Harris sees it, holds him, there's no outs, you're down by 4 now. No reason to make the first out and kill a rally by getting a runner called out at home. Nicely done by Lenny, the third.
Roger McDowell out, trying to buy some time. Bullpen is loosening. Now you get into the teeth of the order for Miami. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. 3 hits to open up the 6th.
This actually plays right into the Marlins' hands. They've already shown the aggressiveness of stealing second with Ichiro down 5. Look for Gordon to go immediately. Sinker ball pitcher on the mound. Try to stay away from the double play.
Pierzynski's thrown out just 1 of 8 base stealers this year.
Have to go earlier the better. You have the best base stealer right now in this game.
In the 2 spot last year, 61 games for Prado. Not running, pitch is in.
See, to me, it doesn't matter how fast Chacin is to the plate right here. You have to test A.J. Pierzynski. You have to test his arm. You have to trust that Gordon can really get a good jump no matter how quick Chacin is.
And you're not hesitating with the score 5-1
no.
in the bottom of the 6th?
I am not, because of the simple reason that this guy has already proven that most likely you're going to hit a ball on the ground. Try to stay away from this double play. Keep the pressure going. Try to get the momentum. Continue momentum right now if you're the Marlins.
Prado has singled, popped out. Chacin misses down low, and it's 2-0. 83 pitches, but I don't know that the pitch count matters anymore with Chacin. If he fails to get Prado with a lefty in the pen, Freddie Gonzalez may go get lefty for lefty in Christian Yelich. Here's the 2-0. It's a strike. It's 2-1.
See how quick he is with a slide step. Holds that glove high. Very difficult for Gordon right now. And again, this is a time that this is where base stealers really differentiate themselves from the average runner on the base paths.
End of the bat, and it's 2-2. All singles for Miami's 4 hits. Atlanta has just 4 hits in this game. But they got 4 first-inning runs on 3 hits, 3 walks against Jared Kozar. Gordon runs, and it's fouled back to the screen. Well, why the change in lineup? We asked Don Mattingly that.
I know he's a good guy that handles all situations, puts the ball in play against, hits lefties and righties. So he's a guy that knows how to use the hole over there. He knows D's going to run. He's a guy that takes pitches. A little different look in the 2-hole for us.
Martin Prado, the subject of that. Gordon was running on a 2-2 pitch. Let's see if he's going again on 2-2. Chacin wants to make sure. And look, this is a great example of why Prado fits. He's a veteran hitter. He doesn't panic. He's good with 2 strikes. Gordon bluffs, pitches down, and you probably can rest assured he's running here 3-2.
He has to go. I mean, Marlon's been very fortunate that the count has gone this deep.
Well, he was running on 1 pitch that was fouled back. Infield looking for 2. Chacin, a lot of ground ball outs. Ichiro at third. Gordon doesn't go, and it's swung on and missed. Gordon bluffed. Prado strikes out, and Freddie Gonzalez is already on the diamond, set to make a pitching change.
Yeah, that's a good slider right there, but you can't bluff right there. Either you go or not. 3-2 count. Did a nice job holding Gordon on at first base. Give him a lot of credit.
Braves head to their bullpen. This is a Kendall Toyota called to the pen. The Gatorade. Chacin followed up a terrific start in Washington with a good one here.
Oh. I didn't know we were coming on camera.
You couldn't even wait, could you?
No.
Evan Hirsch, who had a birthday out in left field. Thank you for the cake.
Oh yeah, very, very good. This isn't a prop either.
I got a piece as well.
I'm killing it.
Yes, you are.
Oh.
Yes, you are. Thank you, Evan. Happy birthday. Thank you, Craig. And now, Hunter Cervenka, the lefty out of the bullpen. Gets Christian Yelich at the corners. Gordon at first, Ichiro at third. Yelich takes down. It's 1-0. Cervenka, his fourth appearance. He pitched last night, picked up a hold, struck out 2 in an inning.
Came in big strikeout against Chris Johnson yesterday.
Cervenka gets a strike on Yelich. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So no more Jhoulys Chacín. Chacín 5 1/3, struck out 6, 4 hits, all singles. And the lefty has also slowed Gordon down at first.
Well, that's the move he wanted to see. I think he was taking a one-way lead. Big move, try to entice Cervenka to make a throw. Now he's seen it. Now you might see D going.
Cervenka out of Baytown, Texas. Up and in to Yelich. Cervenka spent a long time in the Cubs organization. Braves got him last year. Started his career with Boston, but this is his first taste of the big leagues.
Average move so far, hasn't shown a great one. He's got him back safely. Standing up both times he's thrown over.
It's out. Whatever the Marlins do on the bases, and they've stolen a base in the inning. Gordon was running on a pitch that was fouled back. They have to make absolutely sure that they get where they're going safely. Down 4, bottom 6. And you've got the bats of Yelich, Stanton, and Bour coming up.
See, right here, I do not send him. Reason being, good eye at the plate.
He runs. Yelich hits deep to left, but twisting and turning foul into the seats.
So much for my opinion on that one.
You might want to go back to eating your cake.
I know, right? And one of the reasons right here that you see indeed going back every time Cervenka has thrown the pitch to the plate, not really getting a good read. You have Giancarlo Stanton on deck. You don't want him to get picked off here. Yes, I do send him 3-2. Most likely now they won't. But when you have Stanton on deck, one swing could really change the dynamic of this game.
He runs, and Yelich fouls it into the upper reaches.
He does run, but you're counting on Yelich putting the ball in play. Swing and miss right here. Look at the jump. Not a good one at all. Very late jump. More like a hit and run type jump. Want to make sure the pitcher goes home. I get that, but you don't want to strike him out, throw him out situation.
Runs again, pitches down, bags are loaded.
Great at bat by Christian Yelich.
And Stanton will not face the lefty. Freddie Gonzalez goes to his bullpen again. And Yelich, who walked 3 times in last night's ball game, has loaded the bases. Tying run to the plate, Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Kids Eat Free Wednesday is coming up this Wednesday on the 20th. Every kid 12 and under with a ticket will get a coupon for a free KM Beef Frank, bag of chips, small Pepsi or Aquafina. Get your tickets at Marlins.com and don't miss Kids Eat Free Wednesday. Well, this has been a frustrating day for Miami. That could change in a hurry. Down 5-0, the Marlins have put a run on the board, loaded the bases, forced Atlanta to go to the bullpen twice, and here is Giancarlo Stanton against Alexi Ogando. Fastball foul back. And it's 0-1. Ogando throws hard. Stanton had a rip.
A little bit late on it, but good swing. Probably the best swing he's had all day long.
There's Ogando's numbers, 5th appearance. Stanton 1 for 4 against him with a walk and 2 strikeouts. And of course, strikeouts are coming hot and heavy right now for Stanton. 7 of his last 8 at-bats he has struck out. And Ogando's thrown him 2 fastballs.
A lot different the way that Ogando's pitching than what Chacin pitched. Him throwing him a lot of sliders early in the count. Ogando has gone upstairs with the fastball.
Great speed on the bases. Ichiro, Gordon, Yelich. 0-2. Hit him. Breaking ball hit him in the arm. Stanton is aboard, and the Marlins have a run. You could hear it brush against Stanton's arm, and now it's 5-2 with 1 out. And here comes Bohr, and Bohr gets to hit against the righty.
Well, that's the first slider Ogando had to throw, and if you're going to get hit, that's just the right way to do it. Roll with it, 0-2 count, and you get an RBI from it. Turned in pretty bad day into a better day right there. Ichiro scoring on it. And you're right, Justin Bohr up with the righty.
Yeah, and that's, all the moves by the Braves was to get a lefty in for Yelich and a righty in for Stanton. And now here's Bohr against a righty with the bags loaded and 1 out. Miami down 3. And Bohr cracks one foul. It's 0-1. Our Toyota inside look. Justin Bohr against the East, very good. And of course, against Atlanta, he had 5 home runs last year. Ogando misses in the dirt. Well, Ogando has shown that fastball command is okay. The breaking ball hits Stanton in the wallet.
Fat wallet.
Very nice, touche. Stanton's at first, Yelich at second, Gordon at third. Bohr with a 1-1 count. Homered last night, also singled the left. He goes to left, hits it well, and it's caught there by Peterson. Gordon will score. Wow, Justin Bohr really tattooed that baseball.
Locked in.
Goes as a sacrifice fly, good at bat, 2-run game now.
See where he hits it, barrels it right there to left field, driving it. Nicely done by Jace Peterson, his 2nd game ever in left field in the major leagues. Gets a sac fly, he wanted more, but he has to be very happy with the bat path on that swing.
And because of the changes on the mound, Don Mattingly is able to get Derek Dietrich an at-bat against this right-hander. Dietrich hitting in Brian Morris's spot. Remember, in the double switch, Marcell Ozuna came out of the game, so it's Dietrich who hits here. Echeverria's on deck, Yelich at second, Stanton at first. That's a strike.
Very interesting with the Braves. Yes, they've used their pen, but also the Marlins have depleted the left side of their bench using Ichiro in the double switch, and now Derek, which is a must-use right here in this situation, especially how he swung the bat off the bench.
Big shift for Dietrich. Freeman backing up, fires to first in time to get the out. But Miami is up off the canvas with 3 runs. In the bottom of the 6th, it's 5-3. Atlanta on top, top 7 in Miami. Time now for our Coors Timeless Moment. Barry Bonds on April 17, 2001 hit his 500th career home run in just his 2,155th career game. That was April 17, 2001. Dodgers and Gigantes. Marlins will see the Giants coming up and head to this guy's neighborhood. Kyle Barraclough was raised in Santa Clara, California, just south of San Francisco. Pitched his college ball in the East Bay, across the bay at St. Mary's. Marlins saw him last year, liked him, wanted him to start the year in AAA, fine-tune his control, and he arrives here. Dustin McGowan designated for assignment. McGowan didn't pitch poorly, and the hope is that McGowan will sneak through the waiver process and stay in the organization. But for now, Barraclough's back. Not a surprise. Marlins chose him, or at least asked for him, when the Cardinals asked for Steve Cishek. He's got Barraclough, who was the Cardinals' AA closer at the time, and a breaking ball misses just in. It's 1-0. And a swing and a miss by Eric Aybar.
Seems like that was the game plan against Eric Aybar today. Start pitching him backwards. First pitch, 3 out of the 4 plate appearances were for breaking balls.
Foul back to the screen. It's 1-2. Aybar, who's been in professional baseball since 2002, got to the big leagues with the Angels in 06. Was an Angel all the way through 2015. Going to 4 postseasons. Never got to the World Series. He was an all-star 2 years ago. Flips the bat head down, lifts it foul. Is remarkably consistent. You look at his batting average since 2011, 279, 290, 271, 278, 270. His career average 276. Never been a great on-base guy. Doesn't walk a lot. And doesn't strike out a lot. He's never struck out more than 81 times. A lot of those yearly totals are in the 50s and the 60s. Bearclaw, 1-2.
Well, I really believe that Ibar's game went way up when Albert Pujols signed the deal to go to the Angels. Every time you saw Albert, Ibar was next to him trying to soak up all information possible that Albert would provide. Just made him better just by being around him.
Guy that he's planted at shortstop for the Angels. Guy that's held in high regard both with the Angels and the Cardinals and everywhere. David Eckstein.
Talk about grit. Getting as much as you can from that small body, as you see right here. Pitch down. Oh, that hurts. They get on that plane ride today after this game. Better have that wrapped. That'll swell up with the cabin pressure. See, catchers do that a lot. When hitters get hit or umpires get hit. They go out, talk to the pitcher, common courtesy, give them time.
Isn't that in the latest players' agreement? It's no longer a common courtesy, isn't it? By rule, you have to do that. Umpire signed off on it as well. Catcher gets hit, umpire gets hit, hitter gets hit. Everybody at the plate has to buy time. Umpire will go out, sweep off the plate.
Even though it's really clean.
Hitter will, catcher goes down as well. He'll call timeout, maybe go back, get some pine tar or something. You can see Mathis in that last sequence. Watch where he placed the glove on the pitch that he called. He actually had the glove almost on the dirt.
Well, he wants to make sure. See what he puts down here. Slider. He's letting Bearclaw know. Throw it down in the dirt if possible. Make him chase.
Mathis kind of slid out on a pitch that wasn't that far out. Mathis not real pleased with himself.
Well, he was anticipating the ball in the dirt, and what he did right there, he realized that Bearclaw threw it for a strike. A veteran pitcher throws that ball in the dirt, and he was getting himself in position to block that pitch.
2-2. Fastball misses in. Mathis was the first to know that he may have taken that strike away from his young reliever.
Yes, but at the same time, that wasn't where the pitch was supposed to go. You see that one hits right off the shin guard of Eric Cooper. We'll do this all over 3-2.
Ibar's not going away, and he smokes that one over the Marlins dugout. Let's hope everybody's okay. You can see the concern on Ibar's face.
This is where Major League Baseball and a lot of fields have put some netting over the dugouts to try to protect the fans.
3-2. Got him. Bearclaw strikes out Ibar. For the young right-hander coming up from the minor leagues, it has to be a good feeling. Come in and get the guy that you face first, especially after that battle. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, talking to Don Mattingly today, he said the key with the Bearclaw, he has that miss a bat stuff is how he called it. He just was too wild in the spring. The Marlins liked him, had a good time here last year, pitched well last year, but with his wildness in the spring, the Marlins felt he'd be better served in the minors. They kept a close eye on him. He's a power end at the end of the rotation, or the bullpen, as Don Mattingly said today. That power stuff he has and that wipeout slider, he said, is going to really help us. Plus, he wants Phelps to be more of a one-inning guy. Bearclaw should help that too.
To right on a line. Thank you, Craig. Lands in front of Stanton. And Freddie Freeman has his second hit of the ball game. Freeman, a slow start, but in this series, you've seen the bat start to perk up. He's had a hit in every game and 2 today. And that brings up Adonis Garcia. Garcia takes a strike. News from around the National League East. And good news for Jacob deGrom. His newborn baby health has improved. That was an issue the last couple of days. Let's hope that all goes well. deGrom actually threw a bullpen session in Port St. Lucie. The Mets do not expect him to make his next start. Freeman's going, and that pitch gets away from Mathis.
You don't see that too much from Mathis. This tells you the good stuff. You see how he tries to backhand that one and at the same time look up. Freddie Freeman doing the right thing, taking that extra base.
It's a wild pitch. Garcia an 0 for 3. Bearclaw. Good breaking ball. So a pair of strikeouts for Bearclaw. Still has Freeman out at second. Here comes Pierzynski. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service available every out-of-market game in HD on over 400 supported devices. MLB.com TV Premium includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. That blows my mind. 400 supported devices. I mean, how many tablets, how many different phones? 400? Really?
A lot of competition out there.
Really? I mean, I walk into my cell phone store and I see maybe 25, 30. Breaking ball misses out.
Well, you look at all the companies here, but don't forget, this is not only national, this is international also.
That's a good point. A.J. Pierzynski, 0 for 2. When you think about when we noted one of the turning points on Friday was Pierzynski getting hit by that 2-strike pitch. Very similar at bat by Giancarlo Stanton on a 2-strike pitch. He got clipped in the hip. Marlins had 3 runs that inning. Pierzynski goes around. The hope is that the Marlins get the same result that Pierzynski and the Braves got when he got hit, which was a win on Friday night. Two-1. Mathis has to shoot out. Let's capture that one.
Interesting right there. He went with the changeup. Mathis thought Pierzynski was zeroed in on the fastball. Right now, not a must-do to go to the fastball, but that is his best pitch. Electric stuff.
Breaking ball out.
Went back with the slider, so he showed him all 3 pitches in that at bat. You do that to a veteran like A.J. Pierzynski, he'll put it in his hard drive back and trying to backdoor that slider. He won't forget. He'll know that for when next time he faces him.
Gruzinski in the lineup starts a run of 4 consecutive left-handed bats. Johnson next. And Kelly Johnson takes out. You've got Jace Peterson, who had a big hit, a 3-run double in the first, on deck. 5-3 Atlanta. A 4-0 start for the Braves before the Marlins even saw a pitch.
So you're going into your 25th pitch of this inning, and this is where Kyle has to be able to go in, zero in, and try to get a goose egg up there. And Mathis is going to talk to him right now and tell him, you have to believe in your stuff. You have to go and attack the zone. Try to give him some time, not load up the bases. As after the Marlins putting a crooked number up in the bottom of the 6th inning, 3 runs, you want to be able to give your offense time to get some more.
And Juan Nieves is out. Now all of this may be to calm Barraclough down and get him back online. More likely, this double team of Mathis going out and then Nieves going out is to give Edwin Jackson, who has been up, by my unofficial count, this is the 3rd time that Jackson is up. And so it won't take long for him to get loose. But at the same time, sometimes you get a guy up 3 times, 4 times.
In a different span, too. It wasn't like it's back-to-back in a half-hour span. I'm talking about when the game started at 1 o'clock, he was up in the 1st inning.
Breaking ball strike. Get me over on that off-speed pitch. As Eduardo pointed out, 25 pitches right now for Kyle Barraclough. 7th inning. Atlanta a 2-run lead. A half swing by Johnson, who was caught between 2 and 2.
Good off-speed pitch out of the zone, making Johnson chase again. It's the 2nd time today that he has tried to check his swing on a slider.
Now 2-2. Got him with a breaking ball and a nice finish for Barraclough. He strikes out 3. He leaves 2. Braves lead is 2. Game summary. 5-3 Braves here in the 7th. It started early in the 1st. Who else? Nick Markakis, another double. And off and running were the Braves. Freddie Freeman knocked in a run. And it was 1-0 Atlanta. The throw was high. And so was this drive from Jace Peterson. This came with the bags loaded. and this stretched Atlanta's lead to 4-0 right out of the gate. 6th inning. Miami down 5-0. Ichiro following up the Jeff Mathis hit with his single. D. Gordon with an RBI hit. And then Giancarlo Stanton clipped by a breaking ball and gives him an RBI. And then Justin Bour smoked this one to left. Peterson made a nice catch. That was a sacrifice fly. That's how Miami got their 3. And that's where they sit right now. 5-3. Atlanta with just 5 hits. Miami with just 4 hits. And the Marlins have 3 more innings to try to erase this 2-run lead by the Braves. Drew Stubbs. Fast, speedy. Looks like Jeff Conine's little brother, doesn't he? He's out and left. And then Jace Peterson moves into second base. Kelly Johnson was at second. Alexi Ogando continues for the Braves. Next Chevron Crazy 8 Wednesday is, ironically, on Wednesday. Fill your car up with Chevron with Techron gasoline. Bring your receipt to the Marlins Park ticket office. You can choose between 2 Lexus Legends level tickets or 1 home plate box ticket for just $28. Visit your local Chevron dealer today. Crazy 8's on Wednesday. Washington Nationals here tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All night games, and then Thursday afternoon to finish off the homestand. All right, Eduardo Perez, dissect this home run by Adeiny Hechavarria.
Beautifully done. Slider 2-0 pitch, stays with it and deposits it over the fence right there.
That was last night. Hechavarria and Justin Bour homering in last night's ball game. Etch is 0 for 2. Jeff Mathis and then Ichiro are coming up. And a breaking ball strike to Hechavarria. Ogando came in the 6th. He hit Stanton on the breaking ball. Bour followed with a sac fly. And then Derek Dietrich, as a pinch hitter, bounced out to end the inning. Etch, little pop, right center, and it's caught there. Jace Peterson.
It's a nice job coming in from left field to play second base. Making an over-the-head catch. Great jump off the bat. Keeps going after it unless it gets called off by the right fielder or center fielder. They weren't anywhere near.
Jeff Mathis 1 for 2. Mathis, left center, that's deep. Stubbs, it's off the wall and bounces by him. Mathis will hold at second. Jeff Mathis hit a ball in New York that should have left the yard. It was on that night. It was cold. 25-mile-an-hour winds coming in from left. And this one he really got into for a double.
He did. He threw him a very good slider first pitch. Then tried to repeat it again. A little bit up in the zone, and Jeff just barrels it. Almost gets it up on out of here, but nice piece of hitting. Puts himself in scoring position. We're talking maybe 2 feet, and that ball's gone.
Braves going back to their bullpen. Ogando exits with this Kendall Toyota call to the pen. is presented by Jeep. All right, there's more going on out there than we can see. Agreed?
Absolutely.
All right, probably best left unsaid. On a Sunday fun day, a lot of kids out there in the Clevelander area. And on the mound is a veteran lefty, Eric O'Flaherty, working his way back from injury. He's rejoined the Braves. His job here is to try to get Ichiro out. Ichiro singled in the 6th inning. This is just his second at bat. The fastball backs him up. Seemingly every time Ichiro does something, it's a milestone, or he gets closer to a milestone. 3rd hit of the year, so he needs 62 to get to 3,000. He swiped his 499th career base earlier in the game, and he bunts, fouls it back.
I don't think in this situation Ichiro's affected by O'Flaherty being that left-handed pitcher. You know, last year O'Flaherty struggled. 8.10 ERA. Ichiro so far 1 career at bat, 1 hit off of O'Flaherty.
Two and one. Jim Johnson, a right-hander, is ready in the bullpen. Of course, you got Ichiro and then Dee Gordon up next. Did he hold? Not even a ask from the home plate umpire. Ichiro wasn't quite sure. Watch Eric Cooper if we can keep this rolling.
Yeah, he swung at that right there.
The home plate umpire did not ask. Ichiro, yeah, boy, that's tough to hold up. It gets by the catcher, and Mathis arrives at 3rd.
And that's huge right there. Obviously gets closer to the plate, but most importantly, Ichiro with the 2-seam sinker baller in O'Flaherty, likely to put one down on the ground. Infield will play back. Mathis would be going on contact. Get 1 run closer as they're down 2 right now, 5-3.
Wild pitch. Infield is indeed back, including the corners. And it's in, and Ichiro has walked. So 2 really nice at-bats by Ichiro in the ballgame. And here's Dee Gordon and the Marlins at the corners. And 1 out. Freddie Gonzalez at the lineup card. He's got Johnson, the righty, ready. Prado is on deck. Gordon in this one is 1 for 3 with an RBI hit.
Well, infield right now at double play depth. One of the toughest guys to double up. So much speed from the left side.
Gordon bunts and just brings it with him foul.
Early in the count from the top, see him square up. Being a double play depth, Jace Peterson now has to come in a couple steps closer, forces him now to play defense a couple steps closer. Good time for Ichiro probably to get a bag if he can get a good jump off of Flaherty.
Gordon, a slow tapper. Ichiro around Peterson, who shovels and just gets him. Miami gets the run. Mathis scores.
Talk about being counterproductive a little bit. Showing that bunt now made Jace Peterson come in a lot closer. And you see this bouncer, if he's playing a couple steps deep, no chance he would get him. Instead, gets the RBI out at first, runner in scoring position at second base. But nicely played by Jace Peterson. Very athletic.
And good awareness by Ichiro. You saw him sidestep Peterson, who did not have the ball. But if he touches him before he gets the ball, everybody goes back and Ichiro's out. And so by avoiding him, he gets to second and allows the run to score. 5-4 Atlanta. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. It's Johnson against Prado with a runner in scoring position. Running out to their lead. The Marlins starting to chip away, and the Fish have almost arrived even. They have a ways to go now. Daniel Castro is at third base. Castro goes into the 9 spot. Big right-hander, formerly of the Orioles and the Athletics. Jim Johnson is in, and it's Martin Prado with 2 outs and the tying run, Ichiro, at second. Johnson worked last night for an inning. He worked Friday night as well. He gets a strike on Prado.
It's to be said that sinker ballers like Jim Johnson actually get sharper the more they pitch. They don't have to be max effort guys. The sinker will be, as long as it's down, should be effective. He's not a guy that will throw many pitches to contact. You see 8 on Friday, 11 on Saturday. That allows him now to be back on the mound today.
Prado a bouncer. Castro just in the game. Across the diamond in time. Inning over. Miami gets a run closer to the 8th. 5-4 Atlanta. so does David Phelps. And Phelps, in his 4 games, an ERA of 2.25. Not a lot of hits against him. You see that batting average at the bottom of the screen. The guy that started certainly in a middle relief role, in fact was called upon early in a 4-inning stint in a win in DC, has steadily moved further and further back in the bullpen, which is a good thing. You want to move back in the bullpen. See, I told you there were a lot of things going on that we couldn't see from the shoulder area down from that last shot. Apparently, that's what's going on in the Clevelander.
Oh, Sunday fun days. I wonder what people are doing in their homes right now, celebrating this type of day, watching us.
Just a spectacular day in South Florida. Not overly hot, not overly humid. I'm sure a lot of people are out. Glad you're with us. If you're streaming live on one of your devices,
but you can stream and barbecue. See if the fish can come back.
Jace Peterson. Peterson a bunt. Phelps is on it. Whoa! Gets him. Almost tears Justin Bour in half.
Showing some flexibility. And this is the part when you're in that zone, pitchers have to step and throw. As an infielder, as that first baseman, you'll have your left foot on the bag. See how he catches it right here, steps and throws, and then that left foot is on the back, so it really doesn't give you a lot of reach on any throw towards your right. Lucky. See it right there, sigh of relief. Thank you, Mr. Bour.
Phelps has an out. Malik Smith for Atlanta. He tries to bunt and fouls it back, and the count is 0-1. The Nationals are 9-1. They're in Philly and tied 1-1. The game is in the 8th. In the air, Jeff Mathis back with a screen and out of play. The Phillies have kept Bryce Harper in the ballpark, though. He is 1 for 3. Harper not the National League leader in home runs, but he's close. Trevor Story has 7. Bryce Harper has 5.
Interesting note also with that Philly team, I mean, their pitching staff came in today leading the league in leading all of major leagues in strikeouts. Swing and miss staff came in with 118. I think Vince Velasquez had a lot to do with it with that outing. He had 16 strikeouts in a complete game the other day.
Got him. Fastball came inside. And David Phelps has 2 outs.
Good freeze pitch right there on the inside part. You're going to show bunt first pitch, okay. You're going to foul out the second one. See if you can hit the pitch on the inside corner.
Strike to Daniel Castro. Remember, the Braves bullpen is already 4 pitchers in this game. With that double switch, you'll see. We'll see if Johnson tries to go another inning and then drop it off to either Vizcaino or Grilli in the 9th.
David's really shown his ability to go 4 corners with his fastball. Throw it inside, he can go up, down with it and away.
Phelps was asked this week whether he was happy in the bullpen and whether moving into the 7th, 8th inning role suited him. And he gave the answer you want to hear. He says, I don't care where I pitch, I just want to pitch. I think he really has the demeanor that helps him in that role. It didn't miss by much.
Oh, good 89 mile/per-hour fastball. Just a little bit down. We see the Fox tracks on the right.
Brian Morris, Kyle Bearclaw, and now Phelps out of Miami's pen. And David Phelps, outstanding in the 8th. 1, 2, 3, pair of punch-outs. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and the big one, Justin Bour. (5-4), Braves on top of the Marlins. This has been an interesting ride here. Atlanta, a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th. And in the last 2 innings, the Marlins have picked up 4 runs, 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. And here in the 8th, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and Justin Bour against Jim Johnson. Johnson into his 2nd inning in relief. He came in that 7th. He unfolds with a fastball for a strike to Yelich. Another walk. Yelich 0 for 2. He's walked now 4 times in the last 24 hours, the last 2 games. Breaking ball, foul. That was close. Pierzynski tried to sell it. Yelich, a mere bystander, smiling as Pierzynski tries to plead his case.
Christian actually lucked out right here, stayed at the plate. Great job right there by AJ, always trying to get an edge.
Ball hit the plate, which is fair territory, but it bounced back just inside the baseline.
And you see how Eric Cooper got in perfect position to see it.
0-2. Yelich stays alive, and the count stays at 0-2.
Jim Johnson with that 2-seam fastball, a good sinker away. Perfect guy at the plate to go the other way with it, try to drive it into left field.
Got him. Yelich called strike 3.
Changing the eyesight. You see how he was down and away, down and away. Fox tracks, and then all of a sudden paints up and in the strike zone.
Now Stanton. Stanton struck out twice, was hit by a pitch, and that drove in a run in the 6th inning. That was with 2 strikes, and it was a fortuitous chain of events for Miami because Stanton has really struggled the last 2 ball games. And he's let a lot of those go by. The fastball down the middle, it's 0-2.
Fastball up to see if Giancarlo would chase. Tried to track a couple pitches.
There's the breaking ball. It stays at 1-2. Stan is homered twice.
Pitch down, close to the strike zone, something he has to protect now. Johnson working pretty quick.
1-2 coming. Stanton drives it center. Smith is there and he makes the catch. Jim Johnson has 2 outs here in the 8th. Here comes Justin Bour.
Jim Johnson just got away with one right there against Giancarlo Stanton. Watch the location of this pitch right down the middle, and Giancarlo just a little bit out in front off the end of the bat.
A sinker to Bour, and it's 1-0. And there's the shift. You know, if you look at the spray chart for Bour, he's had more hits to the left side than to the right side, and a few of them have been on the ground. And I know the infield is over in anticipation of ground balls, but Bour has sprayed ground balls to the left side as well.
Well, with 2 outs right now, the Braves are just, they know what he's trying to do here. This is drive the ball, pull it, try to hit a home run. So they're going to play with his aggressiveness. And that being said, Jim Johnson also knows, and AJ Brzezinski, that the pitcher should be next to hit. So most likely there'll be a pinch hitter. Already Chris Johnson is on deck. No more lefties left on the bench for the Marlins. Right now you're the Braves. There's no way you can allow Justin to beat you with 1 swing.
Well, the shift works here as Peterson on the outfield grass gets Bour, and Jim Johnson navigates the 8th onto the 9th. 5-4 Atlanta. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, visit Jeep.com to learn more. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Ah, yes, maybe that's how you're spending your Sunday here in South Florida. Inside Marlins Park, nice crowd. Just under 25,000 here on this Sunday. Lots of kids in the ballpark. And they've seen the Marlins come back from a 5-0 deficit to draw within one. The problem is they're running out of innings. A.J. Ramos will pitch the top of the ninth and try to keep it at 5-4. And Ramos enters at the very top of the Braves lineup. That's where Nick Markakis resides. Eric Ibar, Freddie Freeman. And then the pitcher spot for the Braves. For A.J. Ramos, he did not have a good spring. Started with a strained calf. Missed over 2 weeks rehabbing that. Has yet to give up a run. This is 4th appearance. That fastball finds the screen. One and two. It'll be interesting to see Ramos, his last appearance on Tuesday. It will be interesting to track this Braves team for the next couple of weeks. Obviously, they've played much better in this series than they had. Although, remember, 6 losses to the Nationals. And of their first 9 losses, they had the lead in 6 of those games. Markakis swings and misses. Ramos gets himself a strikeout.
Yeah, they had a tough schedule starting the season. You see this pitch right here. Change up. Diving down and away on Markakis. Finally making him swing and miss.
And if the Braves are indeed starting to put it together and win some games, that will be put to the test. Atlanta's schedule coming up, as John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, points out, Dodgers for 3, Mets for 3, Boston for 4, Cubs, and then Mets. How about that?
That's a tough schedule.
Dodgers, Mets, Boston, Cubs, Mets. That's what's awaiting Atlanta. Fastball is out. Jason Grilli. Veteran getting ready in the pen. Eric Ibar to right. Stanton onto the track and makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. Here comes Freddie Freeman.
AJ, you see him shaking his head off right there a little bit. Slider up in the zone. Ibar got good wood on it. It's just a big ballpark. Right center field, 392. Has to be able to keep that ball down.
Bottom of the 9th. Miami will have the pitcher spot due up. Danny Echeverria and Jeff Mathis. And if anybody reaches Ichiro. .2-0 is in, and Ramos has gone 3-0 to Freeman. as well. The Braves have their pitcher spot due up next. Jeff Francoeur is in the on-deck circle. Fastball for a strike. Freeman had started, now heads back. Ramos back in the at-bat at 3-1.
Pitch hit the upper quadrant of the strike zone. You see how it just kisses the Fox strikes. Is it? Well, thank you, Mr. Cooper.
And that brings it to 3-2.
Now you have Freeman diving over the plate. Good time to try to come in with that fastball. See what he does.
Got him with a breaking ball. A.J. Ramos got back into the at-bat, and he finishes off Freeman. Miami down a run, going to the bottom of the ninth. Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers, is coming up. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Turnaround by Jared Cozart. Rebounded after a rough first inning, leaving men on the bases. That was hard on the fish on Friday night. Here today, if the Marlins are going to keep playing or win this game, they need to get a run off of Jason Grilli. The veteran right-hander, former Marlin, an all-star later in his career.
He was very good yesterday. Came in, struck out the side, right through the middle, heart of the lineup.
Tore his left Achilles last year.
Been there, done that.
In Denver. You have.
Got a nice scar to prove that bad boy. I'll show it to you someday.
Maybe later in the season. Chris Johnson. Danny Echeverria, and a breaking ball misses outside. And then Jeff Mathis. So the Marlins don't have the big bats due up, but certainly a guy like Johnson and Echeverria have pop. Mathis bounced one off the scoreboard in left center his last time up. Grilli pours in a strike. He had 20 saves prior to the All-Star break last year. And of course the injury came after the break. Johnson pops it up, right field, shallow. Peterson, and it falls for a hit, unbelievably. Peterson and Markakis, and that looked for the world like that was going to be an out. Now the Braves, trying not to give up doubles, have their outfield deep, and that's where it can bite you.
Prevent defense in football. You see a lot of yardage being taken care of, and right there, Nick Markakis trying to do his best to no avail. If you're CJ right now, you must be loving life. He has his head down, upset, then all of a sudden sees that bad boy fall, and emotions change immediately.
And Johnson comes out for JT Realmuto, who will run. And so Miami, with Echeverria up, Realmuto the runner at first, and Grilli to the plate. Echeverria with a big rip, fouls it back to the screen.
Well, with Mathis hitting behind him, Don Mattingly opts to give Adeiny Echeverria the green light on the first pitch instead of bunting him over.
Again, the outfield's real deep and swung to right center. Quickly, it's 0-2.
Well, really right here being aggressive in the zone. Gets ahead 0-2.
You have good speed with Realmuto at first. Deceptive speed.
Not so much the speed, it's about knowing how to run the bases. Takes those shuffle steps really good at first base, aggressive.
0-2. Grilli's not messing around. He's come right after Echeverria.
Keeps climbing the ladder. You see that pitch. He's a little bit out of the zone up. Don't be surprised if you see AJ Pierzynski try to get another target a little bit higher. See if he feeds off Echeverria's aggressiveness.
He did, and he got him. So Echeverria punches out. Grilli has one out in the ninth.
See, up in the zone, he had been chasing. See how he's climbing the ladder? Stays high. Didn't take anything of it, anything off it.
Now Mathis, 2 for 3, a single, has doubled. Slow ground ball, cut off at third, and Mathis is out. And so here comes Ichiro, the tying run at second.
Nice play by Castro coming in, not panicking, knowing Mathis doesn't run so well. It's a nice play. It's going to be interesting. Outfield, they'll be playing shallow, knowing Ichiro. It's a lot of bleeders, a lot of base hits over the infield. You have to be able to throw the runner out at home.
And the outfield's in a good position to do that. Ichiro's single was a ground ball into center. He walked in the 7th. Third at bat. And Grilli is ready. Ichiro takes a strike.
Very important that JT gets a good jump at second base. Big secondary. Any contact he goes on.
Ichiro's single, his 3rd hit of the year. Long wait by Grilli, and Ichiro hasn't moved from his famous pose, which spawned a generation, actually a couple of generations, of Japanese kids, players that all would look just like that at home plate. Glove out, that offhand up on the shoulder. And he's quickly in a hole. It's 0-2. And you got two wise veterans out there right now. You've got Pierzynski, who's won a world championship, been there, done that. Grilli, who's been in the big leagues so long, has endured so much. Let's see what they devise here. Gurley's been fastball, fastball this inning. 0-2. Ichiro, line drive, base hit. Real Muto round third, headed home, throw to the plate. He's in there. Tie game. Ichiro, his second hit, and Miami is all the way back.
My, oh my. Fastball out and over the plate. Ichiro drives it into left field, and JT Realmuto getting a great jump at second base. See it right here. Good aggressive shuffle. Knows he has to score. Lenny Harris waving him in. Slides beautifully at home plate.
Here's D. Gordon now, and Ichiro alert to get to second. He's the winning run. Gordon in the air, left field. Stubbs is under it, and he has it. But Miami has tied it. The 42-year-old Ichiro, the future Hall of Famer, ties the game. Came in, has a couple hits, a walk, and the biggest hit, of course, the single to left to tie this game. That with 2 outs, 2 strikes in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Beautiful piece of hitting. Level swing, keeping it in the zone. Castro had no chance. Superb try. See the bench. A lot of respect for that man right there. Ichiro Suzuki.
The aftermath now is that Real Muto stays in the game. And the Marlins, who pinch hit for the pitcher spot, which was A.J. Ramos, have Edwin Jackson, who's come full circle, hasn't he? Think about Jackson's day. He was up in the 1st inning when Jared Cozart was wobbling. Jackson, near the end of the inning, was up trying to hurry up. He's been up a couple of times since, and so the 4th time is the charm. And here's Jackson pitching in the 10th inning against Jeff Francoeur. Fastball, Bohr, backhand, Jackson there, nicely done. 1 pitch, 1 out.
A great sign right there, coming in relief after such a long day in the pen. Getting a really ugly swing from Jeff Francoeur.
A.J. Pierzynski, and then Drew Stubbs for the Braves here in the 10th. right-hander in the Braves pen. Another bouncer to the right side and another out, and Edwin Jackson figures, you know what, I've thrown a lot of pitches to the pen. I'm just going to get a couple quick outs here, get myself to the bench.
It's beautifully done, 2 ground balls, and you know this has been a tale of 2 tapes. You're looking at a team, the Braves, very good control for the first 5 innings, just out in front 5-0, and the Marlins have been able to just, in basketball terms, get 5 unanswered points. In this case, runs.
Somewhere Dick Vitale muttering.
Somewhere in St. Pete.
Yes, get a TO.
TO, baby. Well, we sure didn't have a diaper dandy hit that.
All right,
base
that's
hit
enough.
to left field.
I'm taking away your taking
no
away your privileges.
That's no diaper dandy right there.
42.
It's a Hall of Famer.
Fastball from Jackson misses in. Stubbs gets his first at bat. Peterson's on deck. Both managers have had to go deep through their scorecards, lineup cards that they post and put up the dugouts. Marlins have just 1 position player left, and that's Miguel Rojas. The Braves have Tyler Flowers. Now Gordon Beckham is available, but he's got a hamstring issue. Outside corner, Jackson comes back to run a full count, 3-2. Marlins pen's been outstanding. And Jackson misses in. Brian Morris, Kyle Barraclough, David Phelps, AJ Ramos, and now Edwin Jackson. Walk to Stubbs. Jace Peterson is up now. You and I talked about a real sense of urgency for the Marlins today to win this game and salvage a game with this 3-game set against a Braves team that was 0-9 to start the series. And now the Marlins have extended so much. Peterson swings and misses. Don Mattingly's team has expended all this energy, hits and runs to tie this game at 5-5.
This would be a big win if the Marlins could pull this one out. Down 5 Love. Coming back after not even having been able to win 1 game at home yet.
That's true. 0-4 in Marlins Park, which has about 25,000 in attendance today. Shallow, and it's going to fall for a base hit. Yelich picks it up. Holding third is Stubbs. Peterson has his 2nd hit, and Edwin Jackson's not in the clear yet. Malik Smith is coming up.
Nice piece of hitting right there. You have to be able to protect. Defense was playing no doubles. Just like when Chris Johnson got his base hit.
Well, there's no doubles now. Smith doubled last night. Great speed, not a lot of pop. Into center field, and the Braves have a run. On to third is Peterson. Runners caught up. Bohr with Smith in a rundown, and he can fly. Runner comes home. Gordon's throw to the plate. He's out at the plate. Tagged out by Real Muto. Braves will probably review it. And so this isn't done yet. He was called out. Peterson trying to score on the throw. Smith has untied the game. Stubbs scored initially. In the rundown, Peterson tagged out by Real Muto. That's the call, and the Braves are waiting to hear if they're going to challenge it. And they are. Atlanta's going to challenge it. We'll get our first look. Watch the corner of the plate.
Oh, that's a tough one right there. See the heel come into play. He hasn't applied the tag yet there. That's when he applies the tag. Now let's see if that'll be sufficient enough to overturn the call with a different angle.
Well, this gets a better view, I think, of when the tag is applied. Oh!
That's close. It's hard to tell from there.
All right, the question is there enough to overturn? Freddie Gonzalez watching the scoreboard. Ah, wow, that's bang
that
bang.
Angle right there, it looks like it's hard to tell.
It really is. All the field is out at home. That's Eric Cooper.
See, there's 3 calls: stands, overturned, or confirmed.
Is the foot on the plate there before the tag? That angle looks like the foot is on. But you know what? He's out.
I don't think there was enough information.
And they confirm it. How about that? Miami's down a run going to the 10th. By a run, and that last sequence, the challenge at home plate, Jace Peterson was called out. It looks so close. We watched probably 3 or 4 different angles, super slow motion. Now there has to be enough to overturn. This is blown up. And you know what?
Wow.
The call was confirmed as out. So the umpires up in New York said that the call was correct. And so play on.
Well, one thing you cannot do in New York is blow up that play like we just did. It's a tough job that they have there, and It's not only one set of eyes, they have a few. Right now it's up to Matt Wisler.
Yeah, but it is just one run, and the Braves get a run, have the lead, and that certainly is the headline going into the bottom of this, the 10th inning. Prado, Yelich, Stanton, and here is Wisler, who unfurls a fastball to start things.
We're looking at an uphill battle right now for Wisler. Last year started 19 games. So he's on the roster more as a long relief guy, called upon now to close this game out.
Slow grounder, short, Ibar, got him. Prado is out number 1. Here's Yelich. We made the point that the Marlins had expended a lot of energy and emotion to go from 5 down to tie it with the hit by Ichiro, to extend it to extra innings. That being said, with all that's happened this weekend, to come all the way from behind and lose this game will certainly be painful. Wisler now to first, and it's down to Stanton with 2 outs in the 10th. Yelich is out.
They have used up a lot of energy, but they've also shown a lot of character here today. Down 5 to be able to come back. Win or lose, you cannot hold your head down.
Wisler with a breaking ball. Stanton takes in. Giancarlo struck out his first 2 times, hit by a pitch in the 6th, hit a deep fly ball out in the 8th. Had a fastball and missed it. In the air, and Peterson makes the catch, and Atlanta sweeps Miami here at Marlins Park, where the Marlins are now 0-5 this year and lose it in 10 to the Braves. Despite the heroics of Ichiro, Miami has dropped 4 straight, and they lose this one 6-5 to Atlanta. Marlins Live postgame's coming up.